how many of you would like to be more creative? Great. So how many of you have ever felt that you can be actually more creative? Yes? All right, great. So today I'm going to share with you, what if I tell you creativity is actually, I can actually give a formula to be creative. Would you be interested? Yes. Yeah, thank you. So, for the past 20 years, I've been working in the field of interior design, and I've designed millions of square feet with my team, and we have actually this free flow of creativity. And that actually gives me the idea, where does this creativity come from? And I would like to think, like what many of my family and friends will say that, oh, Su Cheng, you're very talented in design, and then you're very talented in art and everything. And so I would like to believe, and indeed, that was a pretty good feeling at the time. So I would like to share with you a story. When I was 12 years old, I actually took part in this Shaka International Art Competition. And at the time, I was really, really ready, and I was very excited and waiting for that moment to come. So on that day itself, 20-something of us, we were actually at this studio, and I was studying under Master Chia here at downtown KL. And at the time, I thought that I was, okay, this is my moment. Because I've been studying and learning art and painting from my father since I was 5. And then also learning under the Master Chia, I've learned all the necessary skills and techniques. So on that day itself, and then with all the enthusiasm so that I was there, and I actually decided to paint a portrait from a picture. And my little brother, Sui, he was 7 years old at the time, and so he came along. And Master Chia was, because he was extremely restless, so we decided to keep him occupied. So we gave him some paper and some colors and brushes, and we were on the side, okay, do whatever you want, self-entertain. And months later, so after that event, I actually thought that I did pretty well, because I created this very lifelike and with emotion kind of portrait, and with a lot of expectation. So months later, finally, we received a letter from India with the organizing committee. However, the letter was not addressed to me, and to my disappointment. And but the letter was addressed to my little brother, Sui. And so we, with a lot of curiosity, and then we opened up the letter, and out of the shock, and my brother has won the top 10 young artists internationally. I was like, oh my God. Of course, all right, at least one of us in the family got it. We were very proud of him, but I can't admit the fact that I was truly, truly devastated. And how could it be? And that actually, I learned a pretty big lesson from that one. What is important sometimes in creativity is really not about the skill sets, but we actually have the guts to walk what someone had never done before. And so apparently what my brother did at the time was that it was through his imagination that he actually painted the village of Malaysia with full expression and the spirit, and with a free spirit. And that was it. And so what is creativity? To me, after many years, I thought that creativity can be learned. And also that because I have integrated after I've learned neuro-linguistic programming. How many of you have heard of neuro-linguistic programming? Yeah, good, thank you. And it is a technology studying human behaviors, and then also the patterns and how our mind is being wired up. And I was very, very interested in that because if I were to do an interior design space for human being and without knowing how human beings behave, and that would be rather difficult, would you agree? So what happened was that over the past 10 years, I've tried to integrate and connect the two together. And what I found out was that our human mind, okay, so this is actually the bronze medal that was won by my little brother, Sui. All right, so it's a beautiful bronze carbon medal. So what I would like to share with all of you is that in our mind, there's this wiring connection. We have over 100 billion neurons, all right, and connected by 1 trillion of all the connections. And how this is being connected is actually by this neuron that is connected by this axon. all right, that is actually transmitting information out from the neuron and connected with each other. So when the moment when we actually practice and learn and feel and the thinking process, and we actually increases this shield called the myelin. So that when we thicken the myelin, and the axon will become stronger, and it becomes like a superhighway in our mind. So I have to accept the fact, or even reluctantly, that I'm really not that special or gifted in whatever I'm doing. It was just merely because I have been spending over 20 years, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours doing almost the same thing. Like just now, the two pianists there, and they were playing some really beautiful music. I mean, were they gifted? Yes, of course they are gifted. To be able to focus and doing the same thing over and over and over again. And today, what I would like to share with you is a little formula, a 3-step formula with 7 keys to all of you. So that whoever wanted to wish to be creative, if you follow this, I would strongly believe that everyone can be creative. And what I've found out over the years, that anything that we want to do, or whatever we want to achieve, is really the desire, the fundamental source of how we want to be creative to solve a problem, to create something new, is really fundamentally the source is actually the desire. And how much do we really want something, whether it is music, whether it is art, and creativity is definitely not limited to only art and design, but in every way, every day, our way of life. So where does this desire come from? Desire could come from some of the belief and also the condition and also the knowledge and the information that we have learned. So the fundamental key out of the 7 keys, the fundamental one to me is desire. So if we want to achieve anything, it's the desire that we, and how strong do we have about that. And from desire, it will spark the kind of mindset, the necessary mindset that we must have. So to the goals and the dreams that we want to achieve and to make it become a reality. So what kind of mindset? For example, when I was designing an office with a very, very limited budget and with a very, very tight time frame. So, and then if I were to have the desire to do a very, very good job, all right, despite whatever the constraint, okay, it will not stop our creativity and it will be a piece of original. And that's the desire. And what kind of mindset do I have? I have to convince myself that, okay, this is not going to be a constraint. I have to convince myself that this is not going to stop. Yeah, I think I must have opened up to the next thing, which is called all the possibilities that can happen. Meaning I would look into a different set of materials and different set of alternatives. And also within the budget or the team and whatever, do whatever it takes. What are some of the possible solutions that I can have? And then with all these ideas, we'll create a whole new world of possibilities. And with possibilities comes this, what are we going to talk about today? Creativity, which is the core of what we're going to talk about today. So now, what is creativity? To me, creativity is the ability to transcend traditional ideas, methodology, forms, patterns, and the way we think, thinking process, all right, is to transform so that we can actually do something different. That is creativity. And creativity, to me, since we have already established the point that every one of us is indeed creative. However, because of the environment, we are made uncreative. The reason why we are made uncreative is because many of us, we work very hard, sometimes trying to conform and to comply to the value system, to whatever standard that has been set around us. So sometimes we actually do not have that much of a freedom. But there are people who actually break away from this. And with the free spirit and the free flow of imagination, they create fantastic, fantastic things. So in order to be creative, what we have here is a combination of many things. There are thoughts, knowledge, technology, skill, resources, beliefs, experience, data, and information. And what we have to do is that if we were to work on some of these fields over and over again, we are able to connect. We are able to connect the dots. We are able to connect all the resources around us. And then we integrate them and put them into experiment, and that is the fundamental source of creativity. And after we work on creativity, why is creativity very, very important? Because I think it is our responsibility, all of us in this room, our responsibility to create a better world for all of us. And that is the most important human genetic. To me, the most important human genetic is to have the ability to use our creativity and create a continuity for humankind. So I would strongly urge every one of us to spark our creativity and to ignite our creativity genius. And after we have connected all the necessary resources for creativity, the next thing that we need to do would be action. And I'm sure every one of you in here, there are moments that you actually have this fantastic idea, a spark of idea, an aha moment. But what happened was that, because of a fear. The reason why many people cannot be creative is because of fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of making a mistake, fear of being different, fear of being laughed at. And hence, we stop taking action. So right after creativity, the most important step is to take the action and take the right action. And that takes courage. And to be creative, we need to be vulnerable. We need to be really, really vulnerable. So that is the action steps that we're going to take. And the very next step is focus. Why is it focus? Yes, because in today's world, with all the attraction, with all the distraction, so it is really, I find pretty difficult for me to focus on something that I want to do at times, but I have to work very, very hard. So to focus on one thing that sometimes people do not agree, especially people that care for us or love us. So how do we actually work on something and focus on something that we believe in? So that is focus. And right after focus is the reality. So what is the reality? Because whatever we want to create, first of all, we want to create something that's positive, something that can actually help human beings, help our family, help our society, not something that is harming. So the reality after is like a check-in. So whatever we have created, first of all, if we created a piece of music, the way we want to express it, yeah, it has to be, most people like it and enjoy it, and instead of actually giving people a bad emotion. Or even in the field of art, or how about creativity in many, many things. So we can be very creative in baking a cake, simply baking a cake. We can be very, very creative at solving a mathematical problem, or be very creative in terms of legal analysis, legal strategy, financial analysis, in every field and every walk of life. So the reality is something like a check-in. I'm a commercial designer, so I cannot just have a free flow of whatever my creativity and whatever I think that is right, but it has to be accepted, largely accepted. All right, so to sum it up, my 3D formula to ignite your creative genius. Very simple steps. Number one is we must always discover. Before we do anything, we have to discover. We must do some self-discovery. If this is our desire to do, and this is our passion. And then from the discovery, and then what are the source? Is this going to be constructive? And after discovery, we have to come up with the process of design. Or whatever you want to call it. To me, I call it design. So design a set of method, a set of system, a set of methodology, whatever, right, to make it happen. And finally, we have to deploy it. We have to deploy. Why? Okay, we have to test it, we have to experiment. So to be able to be creative. All right, can we actually work on these three words? Hello? Yes? Yes. So what is the first one? Discover. Discover. What's the second one? Design. Design and? Deploy. Very good. Give yourself a round of applause. Good. And the 7 keys there, to sum it up, is the fundamental is desire. If we practice and we exercise our desire, we find out what is our desire and our mindset, and comes up with all the possibilities, and become very, very creative with all the resources that we have to integrate them and to connect them, and the action that we take. And after the action we take, we focus, and that will be the reality. So that is my very simple formula of being creative. And everybody is born creative. So we actually have all this genetic. And I would like to take this example to show you a little a case study that we did. So this is my value. And that was back in 2009 when a very bright young man came to our office, and then we decided to sit down and talk about his new dream in his office. So he gave me his dream that he wants to have this dream office, that because Malaysia has been suffering from a drain of our talented people. And so what he wanted to do was, wanted to do was to reverse the entire thing and to attract more talent to Malaysia. So he said, Su Cheng, can you please design me an office that actually can attract all the talents around the world? To me, I was like, wow, that is pretty challenging, because I've never done that before. And with the neuro-linguistic programming training that I have, I thought it was possible. And at the moment, I had the desire to create a fantastic office for my value. And the desire, give me all the energy and the enthusiasm and trying to create it. And with a very, very supportive vision and his team. So we actually gather a lot of information, and we have this mindset that, okay, we have to really create something new, something really from what we have done many, many years in the past. So what is something new? We actually look into the human resources. We actually look into the potential, the prospect of the employees and the demographics. And then also we even study the country background and the people's background and everything else. And also the whole entire environment. The office is situated in Bangsar. So what are some of the elements that when the young employees and whoever they come into, what are they looking for? So we looked deep. And a month later, we actually created a fantastic office. And that was phase 1, and today we are creating their phase 5. All right, and then, very lucky and very blessed, we actually have the office won top 10 coolest office in the world, right? The only one in Asia. And that was with the help of vision. And this is a traditional office. Yeah, so this is what we have been, what we have learned, how an office should look like. And for the past 100 years, this is the office. So what we have created was a free-flow office, and we actually started a concept called the tribal. So every department, actually, we have all the people coming in with all the freedom, and there's no constraint, and you can be who you are. So that was continuing and getting the concept from vision that he wanted to create for his office. So here we have the logo, the floating in the air, and that reminds us of we are part of My Value. And also if you look at the table, okay, they are free-form shapes, and then people can take a different kind of time. And we want to create an office that actually, whenever you come in, is self-contained. Self-contained in a way, in the sense that it is, you could come in anytime you want, okay, as long as you do your work. And also the freedom is very, very democratic. All right, so this is another view of a conventional office, which is less than exciting. And this is another corner. So we actually use quite a bit of colors, and then we have them hanging down all their vision boards, and each color is assigned to an individual, and then also assigned to a specific filing system. And how about this? All right, this is actually the office room. But everyone actually work outside, except for the financial controller who have a designated room. But the rest of them, actually everybody just share the room only when they need it. So the concept actually came from nature. All right, it's that section of the department we actually use rocks. So that the design actually gave us a lot of satisfaction and created a lot of reality. Was that everyone loves it, because everybody just loves to play. And how many of us don't mind to go to work and you play, and you make an income and you create something? And another angle of one of our office is that we have a little courtyard, a little garden, and that little tree house, because we noticed that we actually have a 15-foot clearance of a high ceiling. So I put my childhood dream in there. You know, I want to create a tree house. So there it goes, there's a tree house. So you can actually work there, you can rest there. So the office is open 24 hours. And then, well, that is how the company today, they actually have employees coming from over 30 countries around the world. And they are growing exponentially. And this is one of the most successful, faster growing company that I've ever designed. Under the leadership of Vision, I really salute him for creating this and giving me this opportunity. Well, at the end of the day, before I end my talk, and I think creativity is with every one of us. So I strongly urge that every one of us here must ignite our creativity and do our responsibility as a human being, and using creativity to create the progressiveness of human existence. Thank you very much.